Hey, it's Ken Barrett, Laundromat How To. I talked a little bit today about attended laundromats, unattended laundromats, contracting out services, some of that. Right now, I've got 2 completely unattended laundromats. I just have somebody go in every day and clean up, and they sort of pick the time they go in and tidy it up, make it look pretty, and whatever happens in between there happens. My other laundromat, it's what they consider partially attended. All of them are open 24 hours a day, but this particular one, I've got people in there every day from 7 in the morning till 6 at night, 7 days a week. We take off Christmas and New Year's, a couple other days of the year. But there's some differences in opinions and different people you talk to about what's the best way to go. A lot of it's going to get down to the area you're in, whether your store is big enough to be able to handle the cost of the attendance, the people. Let me just adjust that a little. There we go. Some of the stores that there isn't the volume there to make that payroll all the time. So, you got to kind of run that option that's going to get dirty in between. Maybe you can get cleaners in there a couple times a day, but you really got to weigh it around. The other one, if you do have attendants there, are they just there strictly as attendants? They're there to clean up, help people, mop the floors, maybe sell some soap once in a while? Or do you take it to the level where you've got a full drop-off service? People dropping their laundry off, your people are doing the laundry for them. The store I run with my attendants in it, that's the job we do there. We've got a pretty steady business. We run it as a professional business like it should be. We've got operation standards. We got the policies in place. We run it like a business, not just service that somebody does in the corner of their laundry. So, focusing more on those type, there's 2 ways to go with that. One is you hire your employees. They are part of your business. All the stuff involved with that, you've got to do the hiring, the training, all the paperwork, the employment taxes, everything that goes with having employees. A lot of it you can contract out. Some accountants, they'll run all your payroll for you, do all the paperwork for just a flat rate per check each week. Or you can do it internally, hire a bookkeeper. There's various ways to do that. Ours is set up that we do have an electronic time clock, downloads into QuickBooks. I can access my QuickBooks from anywhere, so I can run payroll from literally anywhere in the world, as long as my computer's turned on. If it's not, then it all kind of goes bad, but we can catch it up. So the employee part, they are part of your business, and you've got all the responsibilities of an employer and employee, labor laws, hours of work, people calling in sick, training, all that stuff. Not that it's bad, not that it's good. I mean, it can go either way depending on your situation and how you want to run it. Another method that I've looked into a little bit, I'm still trying to learn all the ins and outs of it, just how it works, is contracting out your attendance, your drop-off business. What you're really doing is you set it up, there's a place to do it, it's secure, they can lock it up, they have what they need, the space, that sort of stuff, but they provide all of their own soap, detergents, bags, everything else they need, and they run a business inside your business. So you at that point become an unattended laundry. They're there doing their business, which is a drop-off laundry business. The trade-off you sort of get is they're going to get free rent to run their business in exchange for keeping your laundry clean, immaculate, spotless. That's got to be a priority to them. It can't be, well, I'll get to it when I get to it. That's their rent is keeping it clean. The other way is they're going to have to pay rent and you're going to hire somebody to come in and clean it, but then it gets more complicated that way. So if they have a slow day, they're not worried about paying the rent. They're trading their time. When you are contracting out, there's different restrictions. To truly contract it out, you can only suggest what times they're open. You can't tell them what times they'll be open. There has to be that line where you're just saying, I'm giving you this space and I'm trading you this for this. It's one where you've really got to look at the details of it, make sure you're not crossing the line, check with your accountants and stuff like that, and your lawyers, to make sure that, yes, they're truly contracted. the IRS and the governments would much rather have you say, nope, sorry, you're an employer. They're employees. You have to pay all the employee tax. You have to treat them like employees. So it's a fine line there. You know, if you provide them soap, now they're an employee because they're not providing their own materials. So some of that is that fine line you want to watch. Discussions go back and forth. One, with contracting it out, they become more of a business partner. You treat them as a partner in your business. You've got your part of the business. They've got their part of the business. Neither one of them, they both do better together. They can't do theirs without yours, and yours is better the more business they do, because the more quarters are sticking in your machines. The cleaner they keep it, the more people come in. They can promote their business with, so somebody comes in to do their own laundry, they're there to promote their business. So they really do work hand in hand. The downside to that is that if they kind of get sloppy and, you know, they're rude to your customers, they may have a good steady business, but now they're kind of pushing your customers away, and your base customer isn't there anymore. Then how do you get rid of them? Just say, okay, you know what, your contract's up, you're out, I'm going to bring somebody else in. The person you bring in has to start from scratch, unless there's somebody who's already works at another, maybe does that service in another one of your laundries, and they're going to try and expand to this one. But it can all of a sudden take what's really running along as a nice, smooth drop-off business and just destroy it overnight when somebody else has to come in and learn it and build on it. Again, the operation standards you use for one can be used for the other one. So you can say, you know, here's the link, and I do have a link on my site where you can buy the operation standards, make some subtle changes for your particular store. So if you hire a new contractor, you can say, go to this link, buy the operation standards. You'll need to make a few changes, but there you go. You've got a good starting place. So it is that it takes you back to being an unattended laundry from your business standpoint. You've got the cleaning looked after, your store's kept clean, it's in good shape, and you've got business partners, sort of. But if there is a problem, then it can kind of go downhill fast. The other side of the coin, having attendants there, employees, you've got all the employee stuff. Now, if somebody calls in and says I can't make it, or they just don't show up, you've got to deal with that. You've got to go in and do it yourself. Maybe you'll have a manager, depending on the size of your operation. If you've got enough that you've got a manager in there, then great. But now your manager's got to get in and work around it, move some people around. If you're a smaller store, you've only got a couple employees, it's probably going to be you. You've got to make the decision, do I shut the store or shut the drop-off part, or do I go in and fold laundry myself, or go over and cover for somebody to go for lunch? Because you are following under the employee rules. They can only work so much time, so many hours at a time. You have to give them an unpaid lunch, and that doesn't mean they can just go sit in a corner and have lunch because somebody comes over and asks them, hey, can you help me with this? They're still there. They have to be able to just say, no, you know what, I'm going to McDonald's or wherever for lunch. You can't restrict them from that. You can't say, well, you need to be here and have lunch in the corner in case somebody wants something. So it gets to that point where somebody's got to do something, or you just close the store. I've run into the situation with mine a couple of times where I know that I don't have somebody to work in the afternoon, and I physically can't do it myself. So, you know, we might, in the morning, the girl will say, okay, I'll take a half-hour lunch. You've timed the loads to make sure there's nothing left in the machines. She closes the door, locks it up, puts a sign up saying, I'll be back in half an hour. You know, lets people know when they're dropping off that she's going to be taking a lunch for a certain time. Or there's other times where we've just had to close, but in the morning she'll tell everybody who drops off, we're closing at 12:30 today. And that's how we do it on things like Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, stuff like that. We just, you know, we tell people we're closing at this time, so if you need it today, you're going to have to get back. We do have some drop-off lockers, but that's another discussion. So there's pros and cons to all three different ways. You know, a completely unattended store, you don't have anything to worry about. There's no employees, you've just got cleaners going in. But if it gets really busy 20 minutes after your cleaners get there, or your cleaners leave, somebody comes in with a really muddy load, a bunch of dryer sheets all over, you've got 22 hours before somebody's going to come in and clean that store again. And between now and then, everybody's coming in going, this place is a mess. I don't know if I'm going to come back. So, or, you could put somebody in there for 2 or 3 hours a day. Again, now you're hiring an employee. It's not a contractor anymore. So, as you get busier, you may want to have a contractor come in, an hour or two in the morning, an hour or two in the evening. Or maybe do that on weekends and just once a day during the week, depending on when your busy times are. And then, again, if you're going to have a drop-off service, it's either contracted out or you have employees. You've really got to weigh back which one will work in your situation. Can you get contractors in there to run it that are going to treat it as a business and grow it as a business to make it bigger and better and work for everybody? You're giving somebody the opportunity to start their own business, but running your own business isn't for everybody. So there's pros and cons to each. It's interesting to look at the different setups. Initially, my business model was unattended laundries. I didn't want to deal with employees or anything else. My third laundry, I came into a situation at a very strong drop-off business already there, and it was a good natural progression to take it over and to build it up. So that's what we did, and we took it from a service to a business. But occasionally there's still a situation where I got to go fold laundry. I do most of the training. Again, as a small business, that's a reflection of me and my family and our business. So at this point, I do the training myself. At least, I may have one of the other people come in and work with them for a few hours just to kind of work through a few little things, get them used to working with the other people there. But I need to make sure that person I hire is going to reflect my values to the customers, and they know what I expect, not what one of the other employees thinks that I expect, that she explains to the new employee what she thinks my interpretation of what I expect is. If that makes any sense. But, like I said, as a smaller business, that's a reflection of you. People know me as the guy who owns the laundry. And if they have a concern with one of the employees, they're going to talk to me. So I need to make sure those employees understand the value system we have and where we want to be. And it's best and easiest coming from me. So it's never watered down. They get it now. I put it out there. So as you get, if you have a bigger laundry, you have more attendants, you can have a manager in place. You've got to make sure you got the right manager to pass that information along so they understand the value system. You can write a lot of it down. You can have books and books and books, but standing there explaining to people, this is what I expect. That's what gets it there. So that might have cleared some stuff up. It might have made it more confusing, but it's just some different options to look at, and it's going to play a little bit depending on your market. Store size, volumes, is it a good drop-off market? I mean, you bring somebody in to run their own contracted drop-off business and the business just isn't there, it puts them in a bit of a tight spot too. So it's different ways to look at it. When you are building or renovating a store, you've got to set it up depending on how you're going to end up. One of my stores, it would take a lot of work to get a drop-off service in there. But when you are renovating a store, if you've got the space to put that option in, you might not need it right away. You get through some bumps here. A couple more. All right, there we go. You might not need it right away, but if it's there, it's there, and you can just unlock the door and turn it on. So, hope this helped a little bit, and we'll work through it a bit more in detail. Maybe pick up on one of them and just really get into some detail on it later on. But that's all for now. Have a great day.